I mean, I imagine Stanley play, well, Cool was more the aggressive style, and then Nilzinho obviously calling, having much more experience with calling, probably tends to go for that more slow sort of default style. And contrast that with Mighty Max calling and Imi calling, they sometimes swap it up. Imi obviously known for his slow defaults, and Max sometimes switching up with the aggressive play.
Of course, that aggression going to be a pinnacle factor when it comes down to a map like Nuke. You have very two sides you can approach, and well, it's going to be interesting to see how players like Jess, are they going to step up again? Lazo and Orpa that you've been pushing throughout all of these weeks to really up his game. And
not up his game, he plays well, it's just depending on the map and depending who he's playing versus, change the aggressive style, the defensive and passive style he sometimes brings. I mean, off camera, production talking to me, they're like, oh, you know what, Nuke might be good for Lazo. And I was like, you know what, I kind of agree there, because CT-sided Nuke, as the AWP, it's very rare that you do go for those aggressive pushes. Kenny S is one to do that. He will push ramp. He will push team main hut. Thing is, though, at this level, it's not really needed too much. Playing outside of the AWP, there's so many different angles you can hold.
That's actually a question. You say kind of not at this level, not necessarily as needed. Do you think we are going to see almost a slightly different adaptation here and there, or maybe even just more simple stuff on Nuke? Because a lot of more tier 1...
Well, you look at the tier 1 demos, heavily favouring the outside area. I mean, on pistol, a lot of them go outside hut or towards ramp up. After FM taking the pistol, they shall start on the CT side. That could be major and deciding who wins this first map. So far, the smoke to cover the vision. This could be a fast A main because there are no more flashes left. And let's see, into A main they go. Mighty Max to lead the charge.
Mighty Max looking for the first headshot, won't quite find it, but gets the chest shot nonetheless on towards Pulse, because here we go with a push. It's going to formulate there straight on towards the site. Nothing is stopping them. FM, where is your defense? Where is your hold? It's non-existent. Every single player is falling. Stanley, he is the last hope, but he's in a 1v5. What can he possibly do? 7 HP is all he's got left, and Imi is going to crush him down.
That's a strat I really do like. I've never seen that before.
That was quick as well.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the times, the T-pistols are quick because there's only so much you can do with one smoke and one flash on Nuke. If you go towards outside, you give the CTs enough time with those long-range pistols to shoot you from heaven and whatnot. It's not really the best idea. That's why you tend to see T players go outside the hut, go towards ramp because it's close range. That smoke blocks all the vision, you flash through it, push towards a main, and get in fast. I really like that strat.
Well, at least over towards outside now, the CT side looking just to tap on through with these pistols, but really not too much they can deliver here. It's all about them looking for those headshots, but at such a long range. The rifles, well, you're being molded well and truly into their hands. So Pulse, he has the right game plan here. He's got the also smart call, which is look for the close engagements, try and utilize the fact he's got a CZ, of course, as well, arguably very much more suited to being that mini cannon up close and personal, was similar to an AK-47. So it's almost FM biding their time, waiting for Endpoint to just get wrapped themselves onto a site, and from there, that's where FM can try and strike on through, get themselves a couple of picks, and they're kind of playing for those AK-47s in an ideal world. I think denying the bomb plant, almost a bit too much to ask, but if they can drop an AK here and there, perhaps even save it, that'd be a win-win as the push is going to begin, and at least so far so good. 3 quick picks for them, Endpoint. What is this? They're all just falling over.
I mean, I praised them so much for how they played strategically on the first pistol round. Talking about tier 1 play and how you watch the top level teams play on this map. On the anti-ecos, they always tend to go towards outside, or they go for the contact towards ramp. Never have I seen one go outside hut and squeaky door, the close range, tight choke point angles where there's so many angles where the CTs can play on that site, from above your head, from, you know, directly in front of you from the site. Don't know if I agree with that one.
I'm not going to lie, basically what you just said is a direct comparison between Tier 1 CS and this, but if I'm flat out honest, that just wasn't Tier 1 CS, that wasn't CS at all. There wasn't really too much thought to what they were trying to achieve.
No.
We talk about them sitting up and waiting for those angles, and I like from the CT side the fact they just sat there and waited and they didn't go aggressive, because everything just played into their hands. We almost gift-wrapped it. Well, we didn't expect it to go in that case, though.
We saw at the start of the round, Endpoint did go towards outside, Lazar going on top of the silo, did get dinked up by Jenko with his P2000. But for some reason, they fell back and they funneled towards that squeaky door in the hut area, and they ran out with no flashes. And you saw that Nilzinho with the CZ wasn't flashed at all. Easy frags for him.
That's the decision that crushed them at the end of the day. They just went in dry, and they got completely annihilated for it. Now, we pretty much sat almost a detaching pause, because we're not really in the game. We're kind of just sitting out of it at this point, because the players, they're not comfortable. Clearly a technical issue of some variety. So it comes down to just sitting and waiting for this third round to begin. But in the meantime, really what is there to go off? Because we can talk about economy. I think that's almost stating the obvious, though, at this point. FM, they've got themselves in a much more workable position. Endpoint on the flip side, off the back of that mistake, their economy is back down in the gutter. 1,500, 2,300, nothing real pretty. They'll buy a smoke, maybe a couple of flashes, try and force the plant, but that's really the game plan for them here. Interesting to see them actually buying
3 smokes, so this could be outside, fast towards the secret area, and then try and go towards B. I mean, we are still paused, but I believe we shall Yeah, we are going live into it now. It was just a technical pause. Someone, I believe it was Imi, having slight lag there, but he has fixed it now. Apparently there's a stream on. Anyway, 1-1. The reset did come in for Endpoint, so as you just mentioned there, they will be on the 1.5k harsh reset. 3 smokes though, potentially outside. You can block all the vision off. And if he goes on top of Hot now, let's take a look. Maybe Imi throwing the smoke towards Garage. Yep. Smoke towards Garage. Oh no, is that actually going to go more towards the secret area? Jenko the scout now, all vision being blocked off, and that scout is useless, especially if he has to retake B.
Trying to go for a couple of pre-fires here and there. Not really going to be able to connect too much though. Of course, on the flip side of things, Endpoint, they're already getting themselves into secret, diving through these hallways, looking for the close aggression, and they're going to get the quick frag on towards Neil, and this pretty much startles them up now as they begin to try and get themselves onto that B site. Of course, Mac looking to hold off the vent, gets the read perfectly on when Robin is beginning to charge, and from there now looks to take the fight against Pulse. Just another headshot to build on through. And everything is working out for Endpoint. We kind of was debating whether they invest into this one or not. Well, they got in with the tech lines. They went in with just a handful of smokes and flashes. FM, they're looking a bit all over the place. Endpoint, they've made it work. And all we're seeing now is, well, the remains of a UMP and a scout. Not really too much positivity to be spreading.
So, when Jenko falls off outside there, he goes towards ramp. That's the correct play. That's what you should do if you're the AWPer. Well, with the scout, same sort of role. The problem is, when you call that the smoke's outside, and he saw the player jumping towards the secret area, one of the players from A has to go towards vent or go towards B. The ramp player can rotate to B, have Jenko hold that angle, or one of the players can say goes to the vent and then holds the B bomb site. But unfortunately there, no rotation towards B, meant there was free B bomb site for Endpoint. And Max there got into such a good position that cut off all the rotations there. Pulse and Robin jumping down the vent one by one and died alone. They weren't together.
A pretty sad and unfortunate death,
Yep.
and overall that vent play has a lot of impact behind it. But the interesting thing now is that the economy is in such a odd position for both of these teams because they're fairly comfortable. You can't really complain. They've got these rifles, fairly plentiful utility on the T side. Bit of a different story for FM as it is just not even a handful, very sparsely pickings across the smokes and flashes, but they have enough to try and almost make do, just make the best out of nothing at the end of the day. As outside, yet again, being a point of contention, but one that Jenko is just going to let them idly stroll on by. Not really too much he could do there unless he decides to go aggressive and reface, especially with a scout after getting tagged down to just a measly 28 HP. But this does play yet again into Endpoint's hands as well, because that smoke has gone down, which just kind of make them take a little bit more slow and with an aura of caution. But they still have secret control. They still are going to look to get that pick on towards vent, and from there, things could work out for them.
The difference being now they're not going to make the same mistake in terms of rotations. They have got that player towards B, and Stanley actually pushing out. Let's see what happens here. Mighty Max sprays him down, wins that duel. Neil Zinio trying to push and try to get the refrag, but the problem is he's going to be walking into 3 players. Does opt to fall. Maybe going to open up those doors there. Actually, no, he will hold the angle towards the stairs. We see some players open up the double doors and then peek over it. But right now, with Ezio there as well, towards the ramp area, he's going to be swarmed in. Jenko tags him up now, he can pull out the pistol, sprays him. Not sprays him, but taps him down. And Ezio does fall. And now we are at the 4 vs 4, low HP on some of these players. The bomb is dropped, and now Lazo wins that duel, gets the refrag. And now they're 3 vs 3. Low HP though, still on Max and Jesp.
Neil left in such a predicament, needed to do just a little bit more because now the T's, they have control of the site. We are seeing Robin try and just fight back with a bit of life in him, but it's not quite enough. Then it's still going to be taken down because Jesp, he is pretty much the thorn at this point for FM as they try and make it stick. As Jenko with the scout just tapping away through and landing the attacks. A great play from him. Jesp is low, bear in mind, so a pistol could just do enough. And well, there you have it. Jenko, he makes it work. Great speed coming in from him. 3 kills overall. There has to be said, without that scout, that could have been a very different round. And the fact that he hits those close range shots, got to give it to him.
4 spies on both ends now going in the favour of each of these teams. 2-2. We saw the difference there, having those rotations in from A towards B after Jenko gave the information that outside was Endpoints. Completely different round there. The buy still going to be decently strong on Endpoint side. The AWP will be on Laza. We've seen him go on top of Silo every single round so far. Will he do the same again? Yes, he will. So, go on top of Silo, can check Secret, can check towards Garage, but there isn't really too much information you can get, and wondering if Jenko will peek into him. Actually, maybe he's lining up a pre-fire. Yes, he is. But he's going to hold this angle and wait for one of his players, or for Jenko, sorry, to peek into him. But Jenko's on the rifle here. He doesn't have an AWP, so Laza's time currently being wasted. So getting outside control may be quite difficult for the T's if they still think Jenko's an AWP.
I do like the fact that FM are just not really overcommitting to anything. They don't want to go overzealous with some aggression. They're playing with what they've got yet again, so the same sort of style. And Jinko playing passively pretty much means that, albeit outside is much easier for Endpoint to take, he still gets the information, and from there we can hope to see those solid CT side rotations coming back into effect as Jenko gets himself up in towards heaven now. Can of course head out to those rafters and use the elevated angle just to sit and aid him even further. Lazar is going to be facing that shot and doesn't quite land it. But that's information for the T's as well, so the ball back into their court as Imi and Lazar will begin to move their ways around. And it's looking like Endpoint to get themselves ready to dive on through on towards this A-side with a bit of reverse push as well coming in from heaven.
Endpoint really do back Lazar up well there. Good team flash. Allows him to go for that peak. Unfortunately, isn't quite net enough, but does get information. Will win the duel versus Jenko. Can Imi get any more? Spraying? Yes, he does. Gets 2. Ezio as well gets the 3rd onto the A-bomb site. And now it's just Stanley and Nilzinho. It's like he's shaking his head there the way he moves left and right with that mouse. He's not happy. Oh no.
It's fair enough. You have to look at the way that site was taken. It was pretty much almost right out of their grasp. That reverse push from heaven pretty much sealed it for them because there was no chance that one man on site is going to hold off against that 4-man push. Ezio just finding another on towards Neil. Bit by bit, FM find themselves dismantled. That was really the running theme. Can't knock it. Again, it's the same
I mean, the flash comes out from Endpoint. They flash Lazar. He goes for the peak. He gets the information. Causes one heaven. As soon as you know the outside player is heaven, you know that outside is all yours. And those players going on top of the rafters outside. Won the duel versus Jenko, and as soon as Jenko died there, the backstab came in and Imi found himself 2. And then obviously the players on A have so many angles they have to look at. As soon as the players in heaven, they're worried about the backstab, and that allows Ezio to come out of hut and shoot that player in the back.
Well, the problem for FM really comes down to their entire A-site hold pretty much relies on that 2-man setup from heaven and rafters. Once that's removed from the occasion, you've pretty much got one guy sitting down on that bomb spot, trying to hold off against his left push, trying to hold off against any sort of hut push, all the utility landing at his feet. He just does not have enough. He needs, what, 600 HP, and even that might not be enough to hold off against that onslaught. So fair play to him at the end of the day. Now the job, though, is to be just to try and tap on through. It's going to be a quick ramp aggression. Stanley, he's got his way pretty much so close to finding his spray down, but Ezio is going to find the refrag just within the nick of time. That means things go 1 for 1, and the economic fair has been a bit all over the place. Both these teams still just kind of scrambling to get what they can. Neither want to concede. And this pits us with, albeit a V-site taken, but look at Robin. He's sitting in that room, ready to swing open that door. And
bomb has been planted, opens the door, goes to the peak, wins it versus Ezio, and now Luz is low HP. They know where he is, has the orb, peaks, doesn't quite connect the shot, and Robin finds 2. Imi, though, in the meantime, did take down Nilzinho, so now we are looking at the 2 versus 3. The retake coming in, it's going to be the backstab there. Jenko finds 1, instantly twittered out by Imi. Now in the 1 versus 2, the flash goes through, they know where he is, though. Peeks in, sees Robin, sprays him, doesn't quite connect it through the smoke, though. The bomb is not being defused. Inside the Molotov, he shall burn alive. Robin kills him. And they win the retake.
It has to be said, look at how close the start of this match has been. This is Nuke, this is FM's map pick, and I know it may be early days, we are only going into our 7th round, but the way the rounds have even unfolded, it doesn't feel like we've just seen these complete almost dominations. Yes, a couple of rounds of him based on individual plays and certain specific key moments, but overall, it feels like both of these teams are just matched for each other.
Very close indeed, 3-3, and right now you'd much rather be 3 on the terrorist side because leading into that CT side, as many T rounds as you can get really will help you out in the long run. Lazar on the orb, Jenko as well. Will we see the battle towards outside? Lazar going towards ramp, so potentially not. Nilzinho though, maybe walking to a scope, and he spots him, doesn't pull the trigger. Gets the information. Nilzinho spots the AWP as well. This means that Jenko could potentially get a bit more aggressive as well towards outside. Still holding those angles. Does he know? Does he have the information that the players are gone secret though? Because they could come behind Nilzinho if they do push all the way through B.
This could be huge. This could be the 2nd round in a row that Endpoint have been able to make plays off the back of information FM have just struggled to find. Stanley just going to be sitting tight over towards ramp, ready in this crossfire to try and deal with this push, but the flash is going to be perfectly timed. It allows Ezio to cross over towards that big box, and from there, well, there's just not much value he can add, so he's going to fall off. Jesper and Cole all get themselves ready to hit this B site, and from there, well, the smoke going down, denying Jenko's impact yet again, forcing him to decide, okay, how do I want to approach this? But FM, they have to hold the site. They can't afford to give it because this retake is going to be difficult.
Now they're going to go together through the vent, hopefully. Do want to see a repeat of what happened before. Lazar holding the vent. I'm not sure if that's a one-shot kill. And whiffs that shot, though. Should be hitting those. Yeah, and he gets the refrag and the reface. Nilzinho, though, and Pulse do find frags. 3 versus 4.
Coming in together is the perfect way for FM to go about this. It still is going to be a tough task, though, because you have to look at the positions being held by the T-side bit by bit. They look for those 1 versus 1s. They're getting them. Nil in their hand, looking for one of his own, but the bomb is going to be stuck, forcing the peek from Jesper, and that alone gives Stanley the ability to punish. but it pits us in a 1v1 Neil, going on the counter-aggressive point,
the
trying to
time,
shut down
though.
Lazar, but the shot is going to be landed, and the time, I think
no
disappointed
time,
itself. No matter what happened, it's just another sad and unfortunate point, but it does pit us at a point in the match where surely FM have to take a second to breathe, let that economy slide, give Endpoint a round space, and then they can try and play around 3 to 5, because they just do not have the money to get something even remotely workable, and that's what we're going to see, thankfully.
Yeah, hopefully not a repeat of what we saw Endpoint do on their previous anti-eco, just run into A through the tight choke points, but they are outside. They're actually going to push outside this time. This is good. Spraying towards Jenko, and he will take him down. Imi as well catches the push towards Squeaky. Robin does fall already now in the 3 versus 5. Much different approach, very different approach coming from Endpoint against the anti-eco, and it's definitely a lot better. Opting to push outside instead of just holding those angles.
I think for them, it's got to prove to them that outside is just the better way to kind of go about it. Every single battle
so
they've
far,
taken.
it feels like B is what's been working for them. Are you talking about the anti-eco?
Yeah, I'm talking about anti-eco specifically, because the one time they go up close and personal, they struggled to really deal with all those fights. In this round, they only really had to take one close battle against Nil, but aside from that, the gunfights they took outside, because they had those rifles, it was just so much easier for them. It was almost relaxing. They just had to tap one away.
It is the generic
Yeah,
anti-eco play.
there's a reason why it's the generic anti-eco play, though, which is
sure.
the message we need, kind of almost hoping
So,
that Endpoint never
another
conveys.
eco coming out. They do want the AWPs on the CT side, and we might see the double AWPs that come out. We've seen Stanley AWP towards ramp before, and now Jenko and Neilzino going to face towards Lazar. Let's see, Lazar whiffs the first shot again, and he's just being pushed by both of these players. Ezio does die as well. It's going to be 3 frags for the CT side, and it's going to be the 4 versus 2. Ezio did find Robin, as Robin pushed towards Squeaky again. But they may have vision of the bomb, and they do. And it's an AWP on Jenko's hands. And Molly comes out as well.
Endpoint, they change things up. Instead of going 3 outside with the bomb, they decide, you know what, we only need 2 to be here, and we'll leave the bomb just on the inner portions. And from that has been so punishing from them. Now Jenko with the AWP is actually so valuable for the CT side, because he's just going to sit tight. The angle's going to be held. They spot out Stanley. They will take the fight and get that headshot.
The smoke, that can change everything. Because right now these players are suddenly fleeing. Jenko shoots the AWP, lets him know he has it. And now they're going to plant both these players towards the A side. Pods coming in through under B towards the vent area, but Neilzino already on heaven. They mollied it, so did they expect him here already? They probably heard the sound cue.
They should have certainly heard the take, but are they going to give away the frag? The answer is going to be SS Max. It's going to catch himself the head. Imi just another on towards Pulse, leaving Jenko with that aforementioned AWP.
He might save this.
It is a 1v2. It has a choice to make save or go for those shots. Scopes in and makes the noise well and truly inside. A hut finds a sort of shot right in from behind as Imi slabs in that knife, and there you have it. A very rough round for Endpoint. A lot of damage to be inflicted, but gives them enough to work with. But the interesting point about that is we talked about this economy. That's been really the staple mark of this game.
I think they misread it.
Look at it again, though. Now we go into a round that doesn't really... the previous one didn't feel like anti-eco. Now we're at another equal standpoint. Both of these teams have AWPs in play on Jenko and Lazar respectively. Both these teams have all the utility, those comfortable rifles. That misread, if it was the case, hugely a disappointing point for Endpoint now, because they aren't able to build things up as quick as they would have liked.
Oh, Jenko's about to face into Lazar though. He's holding this angle. He goes up the silo just to hold this one angle. And you can see him there. There you go. How's he with that?
Missing the shots again. Lazar just not quite on the ball, it has to be said, at the start of this matchup. Not the first time he's missed the shots. Hopefully will be the last.
There
the
we go.
gets the second repeat though. That is enough to make it happen, and perhaps some mistakes can be forgiven. There's Robin up towards heaven, just going to look to tap on through. Jess will find one. And he usually finds himself caught off guard, but is able to nonetheless worm his way out of the trouble. Neil over towards fence, very uncontested, and arguably made a whole lot of noise, so need to see a quicker response in future from the CT side. As Stanley still trying to play around rafters. Ezio more than happy to sit tight in the smoke, but Stanley going to get that one nice and easily, leaving
Can't
Lazar.
whiff these ones though. In the 1 versus 3, all the pressure's on him. Bomb is smoked. This might make him show his hand and peek early. Let's see. Peeks up. Does get the flick this time. Tries to spam into the smoke, but unluckily for him, Robin will be on the ball holding that angle, and that allows Stanley to get the defuse.
Stanley confident as well, well and truly before the peak even came in, sticking the defuse. There's only a good 4 seconds left by the time we even saw that frag come on in, which without a kit shows that he's already been on there for a good 6 seconds or so. So it has to be said, FM feeling confident in that position, which you have to agree with them on that front.
I mean, it's bad enough Lazar missing that shot he was holding, but I think what's worse is Jenko peeking just before the flashbang. He flashed Lazar, but the problem was he peeked just before it bloomed. And that meant it was an easy pick there for Lazar to find that frag onto Jenko, and as soon as he died outside, that allowed the A-Rap to come in. And once it came in, Endpoint still lost it though. Great play from Robin. Anyway, Jenko flashed off the angle. Now he can give the information that they could be towards secret after hearing the smokes and seeing them. Let's see if there's any rotation from the CT side. Currently, only no Zinho here to hold the line. But this is an early rotation. We usually see him playing towards A, so... Good rotation. Luzza holding the same angle again. I don't think Jenko's going to be that stupid to re-peek into that. Maybe we're going to see Luzza face into Jenko this time.
Yeah, perhaps have a bit of aggression thrown into the mix, something that was a hot topic. We got ourselves into the first couple of rounds that we discussed pretty damn heavily. Was just how these AWPs can be utilised. As the clock is going to begin to whittle on down, so any sort of movement from the T side is finally going to have an end goal in mind in terms of a site they wish to hit. SFM, they're not really budging too much. The only real movement we're seeing is Pulse deciding to drop down in towards Vent to get himself and his attention really overall divided towards Vent, but that's good for Neil. That's actually a good read on towards Endpoint because the push is going to begin to formulate. Neil has his work absolutely cut out for him, but the slow piece is going to be taken, gets one looking for the second, tack down to 8 HP, can't afford to take a step back, but the flash is going to go off.
He flashed a Pulse though, and now Pulse is pushing, and these players are going to be pushing ramp. Ezio gets taken down by Jenko, expecting the push is well played from him. Robin finds two. Jess. Oh my god, the 360, the 180 even. Headshot to Pulse, but instantly traded out by Robin. Great play there from him. We saw him play Heaven before and find multiple frags. He's done it again. 5-6 FM starting to get these rounds in a row now.
Just proving how close things have been.
Yeah, Endpoint going for the force bite. No AWP on Luzza, so there's a Tech 9. 2 AKs on Max and Imi. And now you should see potentially the same thing we saw on their pistol. The fast A main wrap.
If they can get themselves nice and quickly, that would be ideal. Of course, those Tech 9s are very much suited towards that style of play. Just one concern.
Good change.
Would be Jenko with his AWP. He needs to land those shots. Isn't quite able to connect though, and that's going to allow Endpoint to well and truly barrel on through with a 4-man stacking towards Secret. The smoke is going to go down nice and quickly from Neil, but is it going to be enough? The flash is going to go off. Ezio detached from the rest of the pack. That is so punishing as he gives the opportunity for Neil to set himself up with the reload. Just going to look to catch him off guard and win the skin of his teeth. Finds the second, finds the frag most importantly. The CT side, they are still in the lead. They're trading things down. The T's looking to drop that smoke down, give themselves an opportunity to cross on through. For Stanley with this crossfire should be enough to hold on to the vent, but the timing going to be so uncomfortable. But he still lands the shot. He's looking for the quick peek now on towards Jess, nearly giving it to him almost. But it's a 4v2, getting down to 55 seconds. Endpoint, they wanted to make a play. They have the bomb on their backs. They don't have to rush into things by a long shot. But even then, Max needs to go absolutely huge. That first pick, ever so important. But how far is he willing to go? The timing yet again, nearly catching him off guard, but by the skin of his teeth. The blows will be traded, and he's going to walk away for the most part unscathed. Sitting over towards ramp, Jenko could put on a bit of a fun one. Can't afford to miss this shot, but arguably going to be close enough to actually peek on towards Jess. And from there, Max, yes, he gets himself one, but it's going to be quickly minimalized by Pulse.
Again, Nilzini towards that secret area on those steps. Biding so much time. As soon as he's given the information, he instantly smokes it, and if you are the T's going through a smoke while flashed isn't really what you want. It's the most optimal thing, especially when I believe one of those players was one of the ones with the AKs as well, so instantly one of your only 1 or 2 rifles gone. Really does hurt them, but good try though from Imi and Jess in that 2 versus 4. But currently we are seeing some attention towards the ramp area. You know, Zenio falling back. Smart move here, knowing he's versus the pistols, doesn't want to get overrun.
Like we said though, pushing towards ramp when you have these pistols can be a pretty damn tough task in itself as well, because you're looking to get up close and personal, and CTs they can just try and pull on through distance as Pulse and Jenko can find one respectively. Pulse now gets the longer range battle, which just plays right into his hands. Ezio is going to find one, but one not quite enough. They get the plant though, which turns the entire round back on its head, because a plant, that's a win for Endpoint in the grand scheme of things.
Yep, also the 6 rounds they already have is also definitely a win for their half. 9-6. To go 9-6 on your T side is very, very good. I mean, FM, when we saw them play versus Kaz on this map, it was 16-2. And was it a 13-2 half?
Pretty sure it was very, very one-sided.
Maybe it was 14-1 half. It was very one-sided on the CT side. So right now, Endpoint showing a very different T side than we saw from Kaz. Already gone 6 rounds, so we are going to see how good FM's T side really is when it is actually tested later on. If Endpoint can get any more, that's a massive, massive win for them on this first half. Flashes go through, smokes around. Not full set of smokes though, so there was a gap there for Jenko to try AWP. But I believe it was flash though, so didn't quite get the kill. And now he's expecting the push from the T's. But the thing is though, does he know that there's a player already in secret?
Secret just being such a common point of attack now. All the teasers they begin to push their way out towards the A site. Was almost about to complement the small micro changes, but the one concern they've got is the lack of the hut hold. They find themselves completely overrun. They don't know where to look. They don't know where to go. Goodbye the A site. Any point of contention you had has been well and truly lost. And, well, just off the back of that alone and save, well, what a way to sum things up. Endpoint tying things up at 7-7. Great work coming out from them, and overall their ability just to hit shots and catch FM off guard paid some huge dividends for them, because a lot of the rounds have come back from them just getting themselves in position where FM just don't quite realize they're going to be there. We saw that quick cut push. The read from FM was almost prompting towards an outside push.
Imi with the good luck there. I mentioned there's only one smoke, and the reason being was he actually want to go. Did he just?
Yep. That happened.
What?
He was holding the angle. He saw somebody.
What?
Quite literally speaking, and decides, you know what? We don't need no save. I'm just going to kill my teammate now. It's being quick pushed by the T side, and he is going to fall. FM, that is a disappointment.
Well.
It's actually had an effect as well. You look at Neil.
Yeah.
Only a UMP in this round.
Wow.
As much as it's just one guy, that could change a lot of utility onto what's
you know they meme on Twitter about him being kicked?
Yeah.
Yeah, well. Not sure how long that meme's going to last before it comes reality after that one. Anyway, Nilzinho, left ramp here. Going back towards those old faithful stairs. Oh, as I say that, turns around. Oh, there we go. Old faithful stairs. Jesp and Co pushing outside. One smoke this time again. Maybe trying to pull that same fake. Jenko on top of the rafters. Don't really be spotted out. Yes, he will. Just finds him with that crisp one shot. Nilzinho, they're playing close to the smoke this time. He's changing up his play. Will that catch Lazar off guard?
The amount of times Endpoint has done this, surely the CT side have a read on point this time. Maybe we can just almost hope they're ready and waiting. Neil needing to hit these shots close range with the UMP. He's almost just kind of tethering on the edge of, do I push back? Do I try and almost go forward in the opposite direction? But for now, looking like he's made his call, heading towards Vent, and from there, just make sure he holds on towards the site as he breaks it for the T side. If you're in an Endpoint situation right now, you've got to feel comfortable. You've got to feel in control.
Oh my goodness, if they take this 8-7, winning the half on T side, yeah, very, very comfortable. They did win the pistol though. So we could be looking at, you know, potentially a very different half. But then again, as I say that, all those force buys that came up early on. Jenko was in this position just moments ago, and he lost that duel, and that really did affect this round. Will Stanley change that? Yes, he will. Takes out Amy this time. Amy won't be able to find those two frags towards A, and that could change everything. But these players, they should realize Endpoint's goal, or Endpoint's, you know, the way they set the players up. Amy's always the luck player. Ezio pushing through Squeaky. Cannot find any of those players. Now they've spotted three of them towards Event. Max now dueling. Nilzinho, will he win the duel? Spots the tip of his head. Takes it down. Max hears the steps as well. Killed Pulse. Potentially not though. Jess finds one onto Robin. Stanley from behind takes down Max, and now it's in the 2 versus 2. Luz without the AWP on the AK this time. Let's see if he can change his ways. Connect. Nice shot there from Jess. Will he get the second one and seal the deal? Make it 8-7. Lazar though.
Paul's just looking to get on this bomb, trying to almost stick the defuse, baiting the peek from Lazar. But Lazar, he's confident he doesn't want to face. This could be it. 32 HP. One tap could end his days well and truly, but he lands a shot straight on towards Pulse and Endpoint. They're going to win the half on the T side. Very close fashion. Both these teams trading rounds backwards and forwards, really just ruling in the blows. But winning the half on your T side of Nuke?
You need the T pistol right now if you're FM. You can't allow it to go 11-7, Endpoint on the CT side. And especially if that happens as well, it's going to be so much pressure on that first buy round, because if it does go to 11-7 and FM force, if they lose the pistol, we could be seeing FM's money in tatters if they do lose that first buy round.
Well, we know this could be game changing. Let's see how things are going to go. Already the T side looking very, very stacked towards outside. Jenko is holding in towards Squeaky, but Endpoint looking almost just like they're playing standard. They're not really doing too much. They've got themselves, of course, making sure they have one spotter. Lazar on towards outside just with that USB, looking to find a couple of heads where he can. Ramp being another point of contention. They're very much looking to hold. They should have the information that Secret is being pushed. This should be a given at this point. But if they can respond, a whole different ball game. As already Paul's going to get himself into those corridors, diving on through. This could be a pretty healthy split.
Max leaving the Old Faithful stairs and now pushes towards that B bomb site. That decon door. Does he expect them there or towards the vent? There's so many angles they can peek him from. But it is all a ruse. As they are on the A bomb site, Lazar pushing towards ramp. Will he find the kill? Yes, he will. Body shot to Stanley will make him fall. Another one-man lead already for Endpoint.
Pulse almost wanting to peek, and that could just give up another face. Very clean on towards Jenko. Max just going to snap onto him now, spots the player at rafters, but does he quite realize? No, Robin given an opportunity to take down Max, and this could be so huge at this point, but...
His HE grenade.
Takes so long, the HE grenade could have an impact, but he doesn't want to throw it. He wants to keep it in his back pocket, pushing him with a pistol.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't really too much you could do there.
Endpoint, they're going to get the round. And this...
Both pistols.
This paints a pretty lethal picture for FM right now. I'm not quite sure how they can even approach this and deciding whether they want to kind of go into things. Of course, they got the bomb plant down, so we can almost expect them not to be buying up in this. But
I mean, that is the lifeline, isn't it? That is the lifeline.
Yeah.
It's not quite as bad as I pictured it earlier because the bomb did go down, so... 7-9, full eco, hopefully, unless something crazy happens. 10-7. Not really too much you can do without the armor, and no utility, especially on nuke when you go towards outside. Laza should have a field day.
So far, so good. Emmy going to be there to do some work. Laza going to find one of his own as he pierces on towards the head of Jenko. Nade's going to be going out, and they do a plentiful amount of damage, but not onto any of the active players. The triple man stack split towards outside is still going to be on itself one by one, plucked apart. Still on pulse, the last two remaining. They try to take some battles, try to look for some headshots here and there, with bring a bit of flair. Because it is going to pay the price.
M4.
But Emmy making a whole lot of money, looking for that M4.
It's it.
And he gets it.
Shotgun on Ezio, we saw Jess with that, but didn't really do too well for him. Just giving it over now to Ezio. See Hiko play it towards that A site in front of Hut with the auto shotting. Very effective, especially versus the anti-ecos or on full buys. Anyway though,
FM, they need this.
I mean, that's pretty obvious at this point. T-side the first gun round, they definitely need this.
Yeah, they really need to get themselves momentum, just get the ball rolling on their side, and if they can't, we may be looking at the end of last first map beginning to formulate as Laza going ever so aggressive.
This is generally cleared out though from the T side.
You would hope.
You would hope.
Got to preface that because this is...
Oh no, he's going to get...
Counter-Strike.
Oh no.
Oh, they're going to check the corner.
He's going to get away with murder here, isn't he? They check it, he wins one, gets it. Ooh, looking towards Robin, but Robin did get the reply frag onto Laza. So 1-for-1 trade isn't what you want if you are on the CT side. Did get all the information though, he spots 4 or 3 players. But that's a good thing for the T side as well, because now they expect the push to come from the CTs. But Emmy, he's got the timing corrected, finds one. Yes, he does. Bit of a whiffy spray, but does find the kill nonetheless. Nilzini as well, challenging Ezio towards the B area. And now the pressure is on for the CTs.
Things beginning to mound up in almost a bit of a comical fashion at this point. Constant trades being thrown backwards and forwards. Does leave us pitted into 3 versus 3. Endpoint going to looking to at least reclaim a pick here and there. Max needs to get the information that the secret is going to be pushed and drops the bomb, most importantly. That's huge for the CT side now. And we can begin to see him readjust. He's feeling confident as they finally have to dive on through. They've got 30 seconds left. They have to go for this play towards B. But look at Endpoint, they're sitting ready for waiting. This is the auto shotgun. Ezio, he's going to be grinning. The smile on his face going to be there ready and waiting. He's going for the first, looking for the second.
He's a one-pump chump. Finds one. That's $800 in the back pocket. Can he get any more?
I mean, what does Jenko even do at this point? He knows there's a shotgun there ready and waiting, so you're not going to walk into your own grave. Instead, he tries to push it out and just get a desperate plant. Max, you got to hit those shots.
Carrigan.
Finally finds it, but...
There we go.
Endpoint.
I mean, fair play to Jenko. He doesn't want to give Ezio another $800. Instead, he gives Max the kill. That's $300. Money, though, on the FM side.
I think the rounds are the key point right now.
Yeah.
It's got to be said.
Warp on Laza as well. Let's see what happens and unfolds into this one. 2 sets of armor. Kevlar on Stanley and Robin. Laza with Das AVP. Easy shot here for him. Oh, just teasing. Hey, there we go. Neil Jr. falls. Battling Laza. About to call him loser then. Anyway, though, Max towards ramp. Smokes it off and they shall walk through it. Stanley and Co. Jenko finds one onto Imi though. Don't think it had head armor there. As he just flopped. Max probably going to get this last one as well. Unless Pulse has something to say. Oh, so close. Observer just teasing me there. I thought he had that one.
So close, but at the end of the day...
Yeah, so far, yeah, I know it.
12-7 is the scoreline. FM well and truly already onto the last approach. They need every single frag they can get, let alone rounds at this point. Is Endpoint looking to take... not even take, just exert even more control at this point. I think they already have it. They're going to be feeling comfortable, let alone like they've already got this map. And they're just going to be battling towards outside now. Laza needs to land this first shot. I think that's a given. They're missing a couple here and there. But if he can find his first up to pick already being thrown into the CT side, let alone any more that may begin to build on uppers to split, formulating towards that A site.
Yeah, look
Actually
how
kinda
far
like this
pushed.
from
Look how far pushed they are outside though. The T's. Imi is pushed back, but they are so close.
Does Imi have any information? That's
We
kind of
saw-
what we need to know.
Yeah, info, but not just that. But we saw how Nilzinho played it with the smoke and the flashbang. I definitely did like that. Going back towards those stairs. Here it is. This is a different set of stairs actually. Let's see how these favour them.
Yeah, not quite the odd faithful, but stairs nonetheless. So perhaps going to play a factor in this. Is Imi just going to be biding his time, pitching his tent as he sits there ever so tightly, and just waiting at this point for FM to play their deck of cards. As 50 seconds is going to be.
What do you reckon they're playing?
They have to make a push. They have to pretty much hit towards this B site at this point, judging by the time. They could try and dip up towards the A site and try and go for a bit of a reverse push from outside.
I meant card game, but okay, fair play, mate. Fair play.
Didn't want to go with your card references too much. They already top decked it yesterday, let alone today.
So, 35 seconds on the clock now. T's running out of options. They are pushing towards the ramp area. Stanley to lead the charge. Shall he walk into Imi, though? That's the question. Open this door and he can see the push. Opens it. And now let's see. Spots out Nilzinho, sprays him, gets the information, and now falls back towards the vent. But Nilzinho's on the ball, on the case. He pushes in, catches Ezio off guard. They're both looking the same way. Stanley gets the counter Max. Pulse finds Imi eventually. Ezio, your teammate was there.
Endpoint just making a complete mulligans of it at this point as they just fall short on every single fashion. Jess looking to claw something back with a huge play for himself as he almost looks to go aggressive on the counterpoint, but is it quite going to be enough? The answer is going to be no as Robin drops him dead. Lars are the last man remaining. There's a surprise. He's saving with the AWP.
Well, Lazar last alive, playing for the exit frags. Low money though, so any kills he does get here shall be important. Oh no, let's see what happens here. Lazar holding the angle. Yes, does get that one.
Should be good at this point. Just get away with it. And this does mean that FM has a little bit more to play with in terms of economy. You can get those 5 rifles back. Their utility is going to be pinpoint perfect. But the big narrative and the big point that really deservingly has to be mentioned is we saw 4 in a row from Endpoint. Finally, a biting point for FM. But this could be the reset.
Oh, if this comes in, that could just be it. The game completely over based on this one round. Jenko
Peeking towards the same angle as he killed Nilzinho. Sorry, Lazar. Let's see what happens now. Molotov, good Molotov if it goes through.
yes, it shall.
And now, will he get aggressive and peek towards up Silo? Will he find the frag? Polsto. Trying to change things. Robin knows there's an AWP around here.
Oh, Lala goes for a
He's
shot
gonna shoot
through
through the smoke. Oh, smoke's faded.
They've already gone through though.
This could be absolutely
greedy,
perfect for
Pulse.
FM.
There we go. So, Robin is holding the flank. And any players that do push from a main, he shall find, hopefully. He's also looking to try and kill Lazar, but Lazar's on the ball. Expects it. He knows they're close, or one of them's close.
He would have heard one of the steps, I think, from underneath him. So
You would hope so.
certainly the jig should almost be up at this point. But FM, they're looking to
Oh, this
spurt
is a
out
spot
on
I've
towards
never
the
seen.
site. Max needs to hit every single shot at this spray when he goes for it. He finds the
Easy.
first, looking now for the second. Window. Don't tag your
Okay.
teammates. That's not the way to go about it. As Max just finds another Robin, finally going to respond back on towards Jeff.
Oh.
But this is almost a slow burner as Imi, just another one towards Pulse. Endpoint, they are clearing the board. They've dropped down their Deathwing, and one by one FM are just being annihilated in the fire and the flames as Robin finally the last hope. But what can he do? Gonna find himself completely blind, staring at the metal sheeting, tabbing towards Vents, Molotovs to the right side, and he's just being pushed around at this point.
No bomb to it. Not really if you get a sealer here. Max.
With the third for that round. I mean, I've seen that angle played before, but we haven't seen it played before this tournament. And it really is strong. A lot of players, you know, they opt to go for the more aggressive style. They play towards the stairs.
And actually, you can see the amount of damage you do when you do play a bit more passive. So, reset comes in, they go for the force buy. Their money not as bad as we previously thought. The problem is, no AWP means they might not opt to play for a slow one. Instead, the smoke goes towards outside.
Interesting to see whether Lazar is going to be able to get too much done. A couple of rounds in a row now, we've seen him almost zoned out, but he's deciding to go aggressive.
Let's see what he can do.
Finally, his time to shine. People have been pushing him to do this with an AWP. Can he hit the shot? No, he misses it. That's so unfortunate.
Not
Look
like
how low he is, and
that.
eventually he is going to fall. What a dear price to pay. As yet again, the same repetitious style from FM. They've got control of secrets. Surprise, surprise. This is the same book. I've read this 1,000 times over. But is it going to go any differently for FM this time around?
So, differently, who knows? They do have the one-man lead though. Jesp though towards Heaven, trying to see if he can bring it back to a 4 versus 4. Robin with the off angle on top of the rail, but Jesp on the ball. The Swedish monster takes him down. Oh, Nilzenia, those are his stairs. Not yours, Zimmy. Finds the frag. Head is gone. And now Stanley expecting the rotate to come in from Ezio. Now Ezio looks towards the vent. And when he does, well, Stanley's there to answer it.
Look at the control that FM have just pulled out of the bag at this point. A 4v2, Stanley on the lower side in terms of HP, but
There's no need to go for this.
I think for Endpoint, even need, what could they possibly do if they even went for it? Realistically, you kind of have to look at, okay, where can they retake from?
I mean, yeah,
Every
typically
angle
the
is
B-bomb
covered.
site, typically the B-bomb site is very hard to retake, similar to like a cache on B. I mean, you can definitely do it, but when the numbers advantage is in favor of FN, it's so difficult because if it's a 2 versus 2, that's very different because when you're the T side holding B, there are, what, 2 angles from ramp, decon door, then double doors. There's 5 angles the CTs can rotate in from. So when you've got 4 alive, that's very easy to hold. When it's, 2 versus 4 in the favor of the CTs, that's when it gets very challenging. But anyway, enough of that. It will be the 4 versus 2 in favor of the Ts. As FM find 9 and potentially the reset, but can they drop? Ooh, this is a tough call. Yep, Imi buys the ops for the Shell Force. What guns is Imi gonna have? Maybe a UMP?
We certainly would hope he gets something. USP, not exactly the
Yeah.
perfect round. A UMP.
Maybe he's going to play close aim, close outside, have Lazza hold on top of Silo, and have Imi play close where we saw Laz with the M4 earlier. Lazza trying to make up his mind where he wants to go. Max, though, charging on up those rafters.
There's no support
I like
from him here
this.
from
I
Lazza,
do
though.
like this.
I like the angle from him as an individual, but it would be nice if Lazza was there to just be a supporting figure if he gets pushed from the far left outside angle. So perhaps something that can be somewhat micromanaged there, as Max is just going to sit tight, waiting ever so patiently for someone to appear, perched on top of that silo. But just not quite going to be the case. If anything, FM, they're going to tiptoe their way around these smokes. Max is set up to have a whole load of response in this.
This is a one and done, though. Surely.
Finds one, sprays them both, gets one, killing at the second. No, he can't. Neil's in with the trade. Now it's a 4 versus 4. 1 minute now, and the Ts can slow this down. And wait for the CTs to push, and that's exactly what Imi's doing. And he walks into the crosshair of Robin. And now, the man advantage. Take it nice and slow. Play the trade game if need be, but do they expect the push from Jesp?
Oh, the snake could catch off Robin. He's going to land dead set at his feet. And there you go. A Kobe. We've thrown out by the Swedish man that is Jesper's. Lazza going to get himself in the elevated angle, looking to catch off a quick pick here and there as the push is going to well and truly begin. A nice shot on towards Stanley Neal. Next in line, Jenko got to find one, but that is where the cookie will crumble. Endpoint, they get themselves to 14, and from there, they find the control back into their side of things, as FM, their money is going to be on the weaker side of things. They do have enough to play with if they want to go for something across their 3 players, of Stanley, Neal, and Jenko, with Robin and Pulse on the weaker side of things with the Tech 9s, and that's what they are going to do. I do like this from FM. I think it's, at the end of the day, what they need to be doing at this point in terms of contention. Want to see something different, though. They have been kind of going for the same style of play.
This is FM, yeah?
Yeah.
I mean,
I know there's not too much you could do on the
I was going to say, it was working for them going towards outside. That's generally what you do on the T side, because going towards those tight choke points, especially when they are modded off at the start, isn't really the most optimal play. Imi towards ramp. We saw Mighty Max here previously. Now it's Imi. Spots them, falls back. This is smart. Doesn't want to give away his frag and the map control instantly like that. Plays with the information, then falls back. And now, as the B hit comes in, nice try, Observer.
Neal looking to almost make the best of things, making a couple of sound here and there. As you're just going to be looking in towards Sutton. I think I do like the setup from Endpoint, but it's going to be one that's very easy to be caught off guard as the T side already begin to get themselves ready and waiting to get onto the side, should we say. Ezio, though, as you
Don't
say,
look to the right this time, please.
just stare, dead set. Look at that blood. Just stare into it at this point. Get yourself ready to catch off Robin, who's ever so low. Jess, on the other hand, just rocking a similar vibe.
This is easy pickers now for Nilzenia as they walk into him. Does he find them? Yes, he gets one, and the spray transfer, gets two. 2 headshots for him. 5 versus 2, low HP there on Nilzenia and Robin. So this is very winnable, but as I say that, you look at Laz's AWP and it's not what you want. Imi, where are you looking?
Leaving his back turn for nil, just a slap him from behind, and he is more than happily going to take that one, just making it happen. Laz are going to find
There
one,
we go.
but bit by bit, FM
Playing for the exits again, I mean...
It's not the first time, surely not the last time, and...
We're not harping on it, but it's similar to what we saw Dream do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not... Okay, so the difference we see, well, the difference we would have saw when we saw Jenko play his CT side up yesterday versus Kaz was, as soon as he felt like he was useless outside, he instantly rotated towards ramp. And imagine if he was ramp there in that situation.
Well, I think there's a quote that comes hand in hand that comes up from a lot of Tier 1 players at this point who are AWPers, and they all pretty much come along with the same sort of trend that 9 times out of 10, once you get past those first 45 seconds or minute on the clock, you AWP lessens in value bit by bit, because once you start having to go onto those sites...
early retake is fine, but when there's 20 seconds of the bomb and you're retaking B, the AWP isn't what you want.
There are very particular scenarios where you can make it work, but playing for that kind of 10% or 15%
I mean, I'm
chance...
thinking retaking Mirage, AWP is good.
Yeah,
A-site Mirage, the
specific conditions aren't what we're looking for right now. We're looking for a capsule.
B-site nuke, no.
Needs to do something
Definitely
at the start of
Who
the
took this
round.
pause? Let's take a look.
Doesn't say. Oh, wait, Imi.
Emi called the pause.
Imi, probably tactical because they're thinking whether or not to buy. Yes, they are. So, AWP saved for Lazza, sitting comfortably at the top of the scoreboard, 23-12. One of the perks of actually being quite passive AWPer is you don't die too much, and that really is good for your economy.
I do kind of, no BM intended by this, but
Oh God.
it'd be interesting to see how many of those were exit frags.
Hardly any. He's played really well so far this game.
Interesting.
Really well. So, Laz with the AWP, the force buy comes in. No pressure, mate. Let's see some aggression here. Try and make this a 4 versus 5. We saw Smooth yesterday when he was in this position. Went for the mid pick on Dust 2. When you see Guardian with the AWP on maps like Cobblestone, he'll peek towards mid, he'll peek towards B-plat. On his CT side, he'll get very aggressive. Let's see. Lazza just going to hold outside with the AWP.
Is he going to make it or break it? The answer is the same old, same old. Just going to be ever so passive, sit back in his little shell, and...
It works for Endpoint, though. That's the thing. Like, Laz is what they need.
I mean, it works, but FM have been starting to crawl back into with the rounds now, so arguably something beginning to change for Endpoint, and this is where they kind of have to be a bit more adaptive. It has to be said, you know, it may be working for them as a team, but they start dropping off these rounds. FM get closer and closer to making the comeback happen.
Laz with the AWP is last alive again. I mean, you're the only one with the rifle. You need to make some impact.
I mean, this is the point that I'm trying to really nag on as much as...
well. I mean, Kenny S goes for the hut peek very often when he has that front spawn, or he goes for the ramp push.
It's something off the cuff that it's either going to go great for you, or you're going to find yourself picked down, but at least it's an attempt at a play.
Yeah.
What value does he add from sitting up towards rafters in that position?
Maybe, I mean, thing is as well, it's not all Lazza. It could be the call from me saying, Lazza, play heaven. And the reason being is he's got the fast rotate towards A, so in theory it's smart. But anyway, enough of that because it's a slaughter on the A bomb site. 3 quick frags there, Pulse and Jenko.
And now it's going to be Max and Lazza last alive.
Stanley going to push on through with this Mac 10. Makes himself some money. Lazza.
This is going to be a meme, isn't it?
Starting to become a bit of a meme, suffice to say. I think that you did raise a really good point. I do think that has to be highlighted.
Oh, no! 1.5k in the back, he'll take that.
Oh, no, not like this, Lazza. That's not something we can justify by saying it's a call. Because that is just... Well, that's not quite a call.
FM send their regards.
Yep. They certainly don't leave their debts unpaid as they're going to be running away with that money.
Oh.
Right to the hills. FM looking to really reclaim all control, and this is going to be a huge round for them in terms of momentum, because if they can take this, then what's going to be in the back of their minds, or even per se in the forefront, is that, you know what, boys, we can do this. We can bring this back. We're playing for the win. Is Max going to be playing a position that's already been played once? Now, this could be a 1-for-1, but Imi going to be there to be the distraction element. Now, if he can take the gunfight at the perfect time, it means that Max has a job to do. The peek is going to come out, but that's where the fake pick. He doesn't quite get the final frag, but that's enough. That's a trade for the CT side. They can still work with this, but look at Robin. He takes the elevated angle on Silo.
Max is low HP. If he finds his frag, makes it the 2 versus 2. This is where it gets very, very interesting, but Max
Below.
Robin clearly has an idea of what's going on. He's got Jenko there to wait as well. Almost takes a leap of faith, but gives it to him. The flash is going to go off defensive mana from Max. But bit by bit, he's buying more time for his team. Most importantly, he is staying alive. Jenko almost just going to be humming some music into his head at this point as he tries to find himself a portal behind Max, trying to get himself to jump, but he has to take a long fight up against Jespen. This is just not a fight he wants to be taking.
You don't want to give a player like Jenko opportunities like this. Max, will he peek? Oh.
Lazza with the support finds that final kill.
And we are looking at match point for Endpoint. If they get reset here, oh my.
We could be seeing overtime. Really. Okay, look. FM win this, 13-5. Boom. Endpoint full eco. Then it's going to be 14-15, and the money and the buy at that point, the 14-15 buy won't be too strong.
Certainly can agree with that one. It paces us to an interesting point in the matchup, but at the same time, FM, they did drop off that previous round, and it's going to be intriguing to see if that affects their mentality in any way, shape, or form. As Lazza, he's going for the pick. This is where a player with an AWP can make an impact on the CT side, but he has to land that first shot. This has been a struggle throughout the entirety of this match. I find myself harping on him 24/7 for that.
He would have saw him as well. And smokes off the angle. And that's it. What's an AWP supposed to do versus a smoke? Lazza has to fall back now on the B side. Needs to go back towards the secret stairs or something. Try and find an impact that way.
Has to be said, there's only so much he can do in that position just off the back of the response from the T-side being smart in their approach. So can't knock him down up here, but he's going to be looking for the push on towards Secret. Gets himself the information that Jenko is going to be dropping on down. The free face on towards Pulse, and they are going to be blind.
Someone has to hold Secret at all times. Molly it, nade it, do whatever you need to. Max now. Hey, will he catch Neil's off guard? Yes, he will. Sprays down one anymore. Runs to the smoke, but the spray trade, sorry. Comes up for Stanley. Ezio, though, takes down Robin, and now Jess at this angle will make it 16-12.
What a way to go about that. Still, even though 16-12 in the way the rounds went in that second half didn't necessarily seem as close, that felt like a very, very neck-and-neck matchup at times, and I have to give it to both of these teams, and it only makes me excited for how the rest of this BO3 is going to go.